Hi everybody, welcome back to Cruise Blog. As you may remember, I recently sailed on a Carnival cruise for the first time in over a decade. Today I'm going to be going through 5 things that I liked better about Carnival than I do about Royal Caribbean. This is really hard for me because I am a die-hard Royal Caribbean fan, but let's get into it. I recently cruised with Carnival Cruise Line for the first time in a decade. As someone who loves cruising with Royal Caribbean, it was a fun experience to do something that felt totally different than what I'm used to. Every cruise line adds their own special flair to cruising, and each cruise ship has their own personality. While Royal Caribbean's mega ships are packed with onboard thrills and stunning entertainment, Carnival Cruise Line focuses on having a more party-like atmosphere on board. Last month, I sailed on Carnival Ecstasy for a 4-night cruise to Mexico from Mobile, Alabama with my sister. If you haven't seen our review of that experience, be sure to click on the link in the bio. Even though this was the oldest cruise ship in Carnival's fleet, and actually one of the oldest cruise ships sailing for any major cruise line, my sister and I were both really excited to see what Carnival had to offer. Since it had been so long since our last Carnival cruises, we really didn't know what to expect. I didn't want to be disappointed, so I kept my expectations understandably pretty low. The minute that we walked on board Carnival Ecstasy, we could tell that the Carnival culture would be very different than what we're used to on Royal Caribbean. The music was louder, the drinks were overflowing, and the people were there to party, including a very rowdy granny on the stage during Sail Away. After getting acquainted with Carnival's cruising style, I found myself letting loose more than I normally do while I cruise. I was staying up late to do all of the entertainment, and I was having a lot more fun than I anticipated. In fact, I found a few things that I actually liked better on Carnival Cruise than on Royal Caribbean. So here are those 5 things that I noticeably liked more on my Carnival cruise. The first thing that we liked is having a late morning sea day brunch. Now, I didn't expect anything on this cruise to feel trendy, but that's exactly what we found when we went to Carnival's sea day brunch, and we absolutely loved it. Although this brunch was available in the dining room, food was served until noon. Royal Caribbean breakfast is only served till 11:30 on sea days, and although that may not seem like a big difference, it's really nice to be able to have that extra time to sleep in because we're staying up later than normal. We appreciated how late this brunch was served so that we could relax and not worry about getting there on time. The sea day brunch also had a lot of very fun menu items that you couldn't find in the buffet or find anywhere else. I found that the fluffy scallop pancakes were amazing, and the 12-hour caramelized peach French toast was out of this world. Since our cruise had 2 sea days, we were lucky enough to have sea day brunch on both days so that we could try multiple things on the menu. These were some of the best brunch entrees that I've ever had at sea, and the French toast was probably the best French toast that I've ever had the opportunity to eat. The second thing that I liked about my Carnival cruise was how they had shorter activities. Cruises are packed with nonstop activities and entertainment options, and that's just one of the reasons that we love cruising so much. On this cruise, though, we were pleasantly surprised to find that Carnival keeps their activities to just 30 minutes, and every event was promptly kept to that 30-minute time frame. On Royal Caribbean, we normally find that events last anywhere from 45 minutes up to an hour, and some of their full-length Broadway shows can last up to 2 hours. So this means that you really can't do multiple things in the evening unless you plan to stay up very late. And when I'm sailing on a very port-intensive cruise and I want to explore all day, staying up late isn't always my vibe. I find that usually you have to pick one event in the evening on Royal Caribbean and then head back to the stateroom for the night. But on Carnival and having shorter activities on board, we were able to bop around from the nightly comedy show to karaoke and then to trivia. Felt like we could do a lot on board each night because of how the events were structured and how they were promptly kept to that 30-minute time frame. And I think this really cultivates that higher-paced environment that Carnival is known for offering because we could do so much in such little amount of time. The next thing that I liked about my Carnival cruise was having the opportunity for afternoon tea on sea days. On our first sea day, we were really surprised to see that afternoon tea in the dining room was an option. And while I've heard of cruise lines offering afternoon tea, I really didn't expect that this would be something that Carnival, of all cruise lines, would offer. Carnival is all about creating that super fun, high energy atmosphere on board, so afternoon tea just didn't strike me as something that would be part of a Carnival cruise. But we were served a delicious assortment of desserts, including a rich chocolate layered cake, a lemon sponge cake, little fruit tart, we had peach crisp, macarons, and scones with clotted cream. I've never seen afternoon tea as an option on Royal Caribbean, along with any other cruise that I've actually been on. I've even cruised around the UK and Europe on Royal Caribbean, which is where I would anticipate something like this being offered, but I don't recall it ever being on the itinerary. I felt like this was a really nice change of pace on the Carnival ship because it was allowing us to slow down for a bit, take in the moment, and just enjoy a really nice assortment of tea and desserts. Afternoon tea gave us an opportunity to relax and indulge. That's what cruising is all about. The fourth thing that I really liked about our Carnival cruise is how the activities were geared towards younger demographics. And while Royal Caribbean is known for appealing to families of all ages, Carnival is definitely known for being the party cruise line. Though Royal Caribbean might offer those exciting water slides for kids and the Broadway entertainment shows for adults, we found that a lot of the Carnival events like trivia and Name That Tune were geared towards people our age, which was a really nice change of pace. The trivia topics included Harry Potter, The Office, and Friends. We also attended music trivia for the pop top hits, which we absolutely loved, and we've only seen that offered on maybe one or two of our Royal Caribbean cruises that we do. It was fun to have so many of the events appeal to us. Royal Caribbean tends to offer such a wide range of topics. While my parents might love the Name That 60s Tune or the 70s disco, my sister and I normally find that to be a snooze fest, and we don't normally attend those type of things. It was just fun to experience something different, and having so many activities entice us. That was an aspect of Carnival that we really welcomed, and it certainly played into how much fun we were having on board too. And the last thing that we really liked was having this casual atmosphere on board. As I mentioned, there was an initial period of Carnival culture shock when we boarded the Carnival Ecstasy. On the first night, I couldn't believe that some people were going to the main dining room in their bikinis and shorts. I even saw people wearing like workout outfits, which I have never really seen on Royal Caribbean. And in general, on Royal Caribbean, it seems like the ambiance is just a little bit more refined, and people tend to clean up nicely for their evenings on board when they go to dinner or maybe the shows. I normally pack outfits that are specifically worn for dinners. I always put on makeup and I try to look nice, so I did the same thing for this cruise where I packed 4 different outfits for each night on board because I had the suitcase space. But by the last 2 days of our Carnival cruise, I found that most people on board were not dressing up at all for anything. It was extremely casual on board, very laid back and chill. By the last day, I didn't even bother dressing up for dinner. And although I had packed those 4 dresses to wear each night of the cruise, I didn't bother making any extra effort to dress up for that last night. And it was unexpectedly nice to just have this kind of casual atmosphere on board. Everyone was very friendly and welcoming, and I didn't feel judged by not dressing up. Not having to get dressed up at night gave us more time to have fun on the ship as well, which was really nice. So those are the 5 things that I would arguably say I liked better on Carnival than Royal Caribbean. But I will have to say in my heart of hearts that although Carnival did impress me and exceeded my expectations, I think I'll continue to prioritize cruising with Royal Caribbean when possible because I do prefer that experience over Carnival. But just to reiterate, there is a cruise line out there for everybody, and everyone has different travel styles, budgets, and preferences for how they want a vacation. And it's nice that every cruise line offers something a little bit different to appeal to so many different types of cruisers. Comment below what you prefer about Carnival over Royal Caribbean, and if you have any recommendations for my next Carnival cruise, which will be in November on the newest ship, Carnival Celebration. Super excited for that one because I think it will have that Carnival culture, that fun atmosphere at the core, but on a brand new ship, which will be the best of the best that Carnival has to offer. And I'm excited to see how that experience compares to my recent one on the oldest ship in the fleet. Thanks for watching, everybody, and be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified every time we have a new video. Until then, happy cruising!